touchy to some people. So I guess apologies. That sounds so sarcastic. I don't mean it like that. Apologies for anyone who thinks that if I offend anyone with this video, I apologize. I don't know how I would be offending someone because it's a personal choice, but I also know that there are people out there who give to want the opposite. So basically, I chose not to have kids years ago, which is so crazy because when I was growing up, I always wanted to have kids, and I always said that I wanted to have a girl first and then have a boy. Always said that I wanted 2 kids and that was it. Preferably a boy and a girl, but whatever I got, I would have been happy with, so long as it's just 2. Like as a kid, I would always play with my toys, my Barbie dolls, and I would have like my dolls be couples, and they'll have like their baby, and just like playing out this like mother father kid role whenever I would play with my toys, or I would be the mom and like one of my other friends would play like the other parent or something like that. So like I always used to enjoy things like that as a kid, and yeah, just always had it in my head that I wanted to have kids. And then that just like slowly changed when my first niece was born. And at the time, me and my sister were sharing the same room, and so I would have to be in the room with my niece as well. And what I experienced kind of like traumatized me. And I quickly changed my mind. I was like, yeah, there's no way that I could mentally have the mental capacity to raise a kid. She wasn't like the worst baby, but she was the type of kid that did not sleep at night. Like she was up all night. She was crying a lot. I can't remember there was something going on with her. I think she had like stomach problems, so she always like was very miserable. And but that was when she was like younger. But yeah, she did not sleep at night, and she was a very loud crier. And I lost a lot of sleep during those times when she was just not having a good night. And I was working a part-time job at the time, and so I would have to go into work super like tired because I was up with her trying to help my sister out or whatever. And it was just a lot to deal with. And so I quickly realized, like, I don't think I'm able to raise a kid. Like, this is just too much. It's like mentally, physically exhausting to raise a kid, and I was just not on board with that. And then as I got older, I realized like it's not even about like having the mental capacity to have a kid. It also had a lot to do with like financial. Like, it is one kid costs thousands of dollars to raise. And so I'm like, why would I put myself in a financial bind? I can't even take care of myself. So why would I bring a kid into this world to have them suffer with me? And then I thought about what my body would go through during pregnancy, and I was just like, I don't think I'm willing to push a baby out. And when I say willing, I mean like, that is a terrifying thought, that a big old baby has to squeeze through such a small area. That has always been a fear of mine, but that never like deteriorated me from not wanting to have kids. But it became a factor in why I was just like, yeah, no, I don't think I want to have any kids. And then as I got older, I realized like, yeah, I am like mentally and physically, like my health, I would be at risk if I were to get pregnant right now, because I am on medication, hopefully not for a lifetime, but I've been on medications for a while now. And so my doctor told me, like, if you were to ever get pregnant, you would probably have to terminate, because where my levels are, it might take a while for me to get out of the red zone to safely carry a pregnancy. So all of these things factored in, and I was like, well, why would I put myself at risk, my health at risk? Why would I risk bringing a human being on this earth for them to suffer with me financially? I also had a fear of resenting my decision to have a kid, knowing that I, like, to my core, I really don't want to have a kid. And I also thought about having to raise this kid on my own. And for me, having a kid has more negative downsides than it does positive. And people are always saying, well, it'll be different once you have your kid. Like, yeah, it's not going to be easy, but I feel like you would be a great mom, and it would be worth having a kid. And my spirit is just like is like the complete opposite. Like, I feel the complete opposite. And I know, like, there's people out there who they told themselves like they don't want any kids, but they got convinced and did have the kid, and later on regretted it, because they quickly realized, like, I was right. I knew I didn't want to have a child, and I went ahead and did it anyway. And now I'm regretting having this kid. So that's also another thing. Like, I don't want to regret having a kid, because at the end of the day, I knew I didn't want to have a child, but I listened to everybody in society and trying to be normal, and had the kid anyway, and then quickly realizing, like, there was a reason why you didn't want to have a child, but they're here now, so what are you gonna do? Like, I do not want to resent my own kid. I want to regret having my child, and I don't want to regret having my kid with a specific person. That's also another thing that I factor in. Like, what if I get pregnant by the wrong person? What if he's unreliable? What if he tells me a bunch of sweet nothings, gets me pregnant, and then dips, and now I'm stuck raising a child by myself? So I have to be realistic and logical about wanting to have a kid, because I just don't want to make a decision that I will ultimately regret. Like, I don't want to do that. And I feel like I would much rather regret not having a child than regret having them, because it's not fair to that kid that you knew that you weren't ready, or that you weren't prepared at all to have a kid, or a kid that's just not in your future, but you went ahead and had them anyway. And so now you are regretting having that kid, and now this kid has to grow up with a parent that regrets them. That's so heartbreaking to me. And I just don't want to be that parent. Like, I don't want to be that parent that had my child because the whole world says that I should, or because they said that I was being selfish and that I'm a female and that's my main job as a female is to get married and reproduce. And so I'm following what society says, going against my own judgment, knowing who I am, and have a kid anyway, and then end up regretting having that kid. Like, it's just so unfair. And so a lot of people may say like you're being selfish because you're only thinking about yourself, but that's not really true. I'm also thinking about this kid as well. I just said, I do not want to regret having this kid. I don't want to regret resenting my kid. I don't want to raise my kid in a single household, fatherless household, or having them bounce between homes, like just living in like just an unstable, just their life would be so unstable. And I just feel like that is selfish, to bring a child onto this earth for them to have a dysfunctional life. So me, I feel like I need to be thinking logically and save my unborn child from possibly going through some type of trauma just because I didn't listen to myself and trying to please and appease society. So I fully understand and get women who are in the same boat as I am and they're choosing to not reproduce because they already know what it is. They already know themselves, and there should be no reason why they should feel guilty for not wanting to procreate. There should be no guilt behind that. At the end of the day, it is their life that they have to live, and the people who are making them feel bad for not wanting to have a kid, are they gonna be the ones helping when things don't work out how they thought it would? Are they gonna take some of the pressure off of them when they get overwhelmed and tired or frustrated? I highly doubt it. So I just feel like people's opinion on you choosing to not make a permanent decision that is a lifetime choice, I feel like it shouldn't matter. Their opinion should not matter. Yeah, sometimes it stings when someone's like, oh, you should, you sound selfish, you're only thinking about yourself, you're supposed to be having a kid because that you're a female and that's what God created females for, all this other nonsense. And I'm just I don't agree. I do not agree. If I choose to not have a child, it is for personal reasons, good reasons, not solely selfish reasons. Because yes, there is a part of me that wants to be selfish. I'm an introvert, so I love my space, and I wouldn't like it if I needed that space, that time to myself so bad, but I have my child with me and I can't just leave him to go be by myself. And it's crazy because I'm thinking about this whole thing as if I'm a single mom already. I'm already in that mind frame of raising this kid on my own, which is Like, and it's crazy because you see so many single parents out there now. It's very rare that these kids have a two-parent household anymore. Like, I was raised in a two-parent household throughout my whole entire life, and so I feel like if I'm going to have a child, I need to be married and we need to be locked down for life. That is my mindset, but that is not reality, and I have to think logically. And I do not want to be a single parent. I don't, because it's not fair that I brought this baby on. I did not create this child by myself, okay? And I feel like men have it so much easier because they get to just come and go as they please. Some of them don't even feel obligated to help with their own kids. And I just don't want to be a part of that statistic. Like, I just don't want to be a part of that whole single mother group thing. And I'm not trying to say it in like a nonchalant way, like, oh, single mothers are whatever. No, not at all. It's a struggle. And so I don't want to struggle. I want an easy way in life. And if I can choose to live my life easier, then that's what I'm going to choose. I'm not going to choose the hard way. That to me is like the dumbest thing you could do, is choose the hard way of living. If you know yourself and you know your limits, do not push yourself or listen to people. Listen to your gut feeling. Like, if you choose not to have a kid, there's a reason why you're choosing not to. And stick to those reasons. Don't let anybody deteriorate you from those reasons. Because at the end of the day, like I said, if you get pregnant and this child is now here and you get so overwhelmed and stressed out, those same people who were like demonizing you for not wanting a kid to begin with, they're not going to be anywhere to be found. And then you're probably going to get judged for feeling how you feel because you're so overwhelmed and stressed out, and then you're starting to have regrets. And so those same people might be judging you, like, you know what I mean, for your feelings and how you're feeling. But it's like, at the same time, you already expressed that you never wanted to have a kid to begin with. And I could go so much like deeper into like all the other stuff that comes with parenting, and having a kid against your will, like going against how you truly feel just to please everybody else. A kid is permanent. A kid is a lifetime. It's not just you do it for 18 years, which is a very long time, and then be done with it. Like, you still have to be involved in your kid's life for life until either you're gone or they're gone. And not to mention the person who you choose to have a child with, you're going to have to deal with that person for the rest of your life as well, because there is a connection between you and that person, and that's that kid. And what if you absolutely cannot stand this person? What if they make your life a living hell? You're going to have to deal with that for a lifetime. So these are all the reasons behind why I say I would just rather stay child-free, because I don't think I'm willing to put myself through hardship on purpose. I know me, I know how I am. I love my solitude. Like, I am struggling right now because I don't have as much solitude as I would like to. And so for me, it would kind of be, it's like I would be pushing the reset button all over again, because I'm a mom to you, basically. And I already know what it's like to be responsible for another life, even though they're not my kids. I know what it's like to be responsible for another life, and I I am literally putting my life on the line, my life and my unborn kid's life on the line. So there's a lot that factors into why I just decided, like, there's no way. I won't be having any kids. And by the time I find the right person, I'm gonna be in like my 40s, because I'm the type of person where I'm very traditional. I'd rather be with you for an X amount of years before I decide, like, okay, we should move it to the next level. And I would rather be married before I make that big of a decision anyway. So there's just a lot that factors into my decision for just not wanting to have kids. Like, there are more cons than there are pros. And so I just decided we're just not gonna do it. And I'm okay. I am completely okay with that. I feel like I have not lived my life anyway. Like, I feel like I've missed out on so much that once I am out on my own, I want to be able to enjoy it. I don't want to have to be tied down, as bad as that sounds. I don't want to be tied down. I do not want the responsibility of another human being. I just want to be free. I feel like I haven't felt freedom in years. And there's just a lot that I would like to experience. And having a kid will literally send me back from having those experiences. So, yeah, I just wanted to touch on that. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit. I know there's a lot of people that look at people like me sideways, kind of like, you're so selfish, or whatever the case may be. But I'm just gonna have to be okay with that, because at the end of the day, it is my life and it is my decision and it's my choice. So yeah, but yeah, I don't really have anything else to say. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you guys have any opinions, or if you're like me and you choose not to, what are your reasons? What were the reasons why? And if you're against people like me, what's the reason? Because like I said, at the end of the day, people have to choose how they live their life for themselves, not for others. So, yep, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Thank you guys again for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.